I'm Sean Mcnamara from mindpossible.com. Before I get into this video, I want to mention I'm bringing two audiences together. One is the audience who already knows me through my work in consciousness exploration, meditation, lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, psychokinesis, and clairvoyance. And then the other audience are people interested in vibrational music, sacred music, and specifically the Jaw Harp, also known as the Juice Harp, the Khomus, the Drymba, the Morchang, the Vargan, and hundreds, if not thousands, of other names around the world throughout time. There's evidence that the mouth harp has been used around the world for thousands of years. In the Iron Age, they started making them out of metal. Before then, they made them out of bone and wood, and that's why you can't really dig them out of the earth, because they've already deteriorated over so much time. So essentially, this video is about using the mouth harp to create a spiritual or sacred experience. The reason I'm making this video is because when I first got interested in the Jaw Harp as a meditation practitioner, I noticed that some videos online would mention that shamans around the world use the Jaw Harp to enter a state of trance or ecstasy or an altered state of consciousness. I tried to find articles online and only found a couple. By the way, any links I could find about shamans using harps for videos or articles, I'll put them in the description below. But I wanted to find details. How do they do it? I'm not a shaman. I've never been initiated as a shaman. I don't identify as a shaman, but I've had a pretty broad range of psychic and spiritual experiences. And so my interest is in using the Jaw Harp to elicit those experiences in a new and exciting way. And in my explorations, I've had success doing it. So I want to show you how to use the Jaw Harp to provoke spiritual or sacred experiences for yourself. And I'm going to give you just a few techniques that I've experimented with but had positive experiences with. Now, this isn't 100% that as soon as you pick up a Jaw Harp, you're going to leave your body. It's something that you're going to have to train with over and over again and combine with other instructions. So if you're looking for instructions about how to have an out-of-body experience, read my book, Renegade Mystic. If you want to learn lucid dreaming, again, Renegade Mystic, I have an online course for lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences. And of course, there are many other teachers and places you can go to learn these things. But you'd be applying those instructions to what I'm going to explain here. So I'm not going to teach you how to leave your body here. You can learn that somewhere else. This is about how to use the Jaw Harp as part of those instructions. So the first instruction is about using your breathing for slowing down your mind. As a meditation practitioner, you might realize that when you come home at the end of the day from working all day or being in traffic, your mind is very fast, and it's hard to slow down to have a good meditation session. For any kind of consciousness exploration, you need to slow down. And one way we do this is by using our breathing to slow us down, because the breath has a direct effect on the vagus nerve, and that has an effect on the parasympathetic nervous system. And we can use the Jaw Harp to help us slow down. And you don't have to be an advanced Jaw Harp player to use this technique. If you bought a Jaw Harp today, you can do this technique tonight. You can do this technique in your meditation place, or you can just do it in your living room or your sofa, wherever is comfortable. You might do it there and then go to your meditation place and start meditating. Or you might play this before you go to bed at night. Just a side note, I made a video about a special technique for meditation in a unique posture, which I call the lean-to. So I put a link in the description below if you want to watch that video. It's a special way to do what I call night yoga, accessing these unique states at night. So for this example, I'm going to use the harp called the Glazrin Arya Vargan. Glazrin, I think, is the maker. Arya is the name of this particular harp, and the Vargan is a Russian word for mouth harp. And I got this from theharpery.com. It's an inexpensive harp, but I'm so glad I got it because the sound is beautiful. Here's a taste. So just a side note that you might hear different Jaw Harps online, and regardless of what you think about it, hearing it online or hearing someone else play it is nothing compared to playing it yourself. People listen to sacred music again, a digital download, maybe things like binaural beats to try and produce a shift in consciousness. But the difference with playing an instrument is that the vibration gets into your bones. You feel it in your jaw and your skull and even other parts of your body. So feeling it is so important, and it's very different from just listening to an online download or listening to a video on YouTube. So for this technique to slow down our parasympathetic nervous system, all we have to do is exhale longer than we inhale. And we can use the music and the breathing with the mouth harp to help us do that, along with the vibrations which help us settle down. They just feel so good. So here's an example. You're going to hear me inhale as I pluck, and then exhale as I pluck again. So that last time I plucked 4 times while I exhaled. The first 3 times I just exhaled on that single pluck. And as we can hear, I'm breathing in for a brief period of time, a 1 count, and exhaling for a 4 count. So playing this instrument helps us monitor our breathing, helps us affect our breathing and slow it down. So imagine that you have one of these, you're on your meditation cushion or your couch or even lying down in bed before you go to sleep at night, and you're slowing down your breathing by using this beautiful music of this incredible instrument. And you might do that for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes or longer. The first night that I got my Glasrian aria, I was up till 1:30 in the morning playing, and had already started producing results later on at night while I was in the dream state. So that's the first technique. The second technique I call uniting with your jaw harp. And this is a process of memorizing the sound and the feeling of the vibration. So you might practice a little bit while you're in your meditation space or laying in bed or sitting on the couch and try different things out. But there's always that single note and the feeling of the vibration in your bones and in your body. When you do that enough, when you play enough, just by yourself, no special effects, no watching videos, just play and discover the sound, we can call it making friends with your harp. And when you make good enough friends, you memorize the sound of it. You get to know its qualities, your mouth learns how to work with it, and you start to memorize the feeling and the sound of it. And this is worthwhile because you might play for a while and then you have to set it down to start meditating, or perhaps your goal here is to have a lucid dream. And one technique for having a lucid dream is to maintaining a single point of consciousness while your body falls asleep. Some know this as the wake-initiated lucid dream, or the wild technique. And for those of you who also practice the out-of-body experience or astral projection, the same thing applies, that you want your body to fall asleep while your mind stays awake. And by memorizing or putting the sound of the mouth harp inside of you, uniting with the sound, you can keep repeating the sound even though you're not playing it anymore, but you memorize it. So you hear it in your mind while your body falls asleep, and it becomes a point of focus. And that will help you when you apply the techniques, the other techniques for lucid dreaming or out-of-body experiences. So uniting with the sound after you play long enough, you memorize it and you keep playing it and you feel the vibrations. As a side note, if you are interested in out-of-body experiences, you will understand this phrase, the vibrational state. Because for many people, not all, but for many people, when you start to feel vibrations in your body up and down, that's a sign that you're very close to leaving your body. So one way to provoke that is while you play your mouth harp, use your intention to send vibration in your jaw, your skull, and through your whole body. See if you can pretend or imagine the vibration through your whole body. And then when you're ready, put this down and then you lay down on your bed or on your sofa or on the floor, wherever you do your training for out-of-body experience. Lay down and imagine the vibration from your mouth harp and remember the sound, and that can produce vibrations. And I've actually experienced that, so I'm not just making this up. The third way you might experiment with using your mouth harp is focusing on each of the chakras in your body while playing this. So with your intention, you send the vibration to the chakra, maybe the third eye space, the Ajna chakra, and then the throat chakra, and all the other chakras. So you might just play, and then thinking here, and feeling here, heart, and then all the other chakras below. And you can turn this into a 5-minute practice, or you could spend 1 whole hour doing this, playing even just one note, nothing fancy, just, and then focus on all the areas with that note, putting the music inside your chakras, and see how that affects you. You might stop at the end and just meditate and notice that your mind has calmed down. It's interesting to me that one of the Italian names for the mouth harp is the Scacciapensieri, and that means to drive away thoughts or to scatter thoughts. So I find in my experience that when I play this, I'm one-pointed on the experience, and I don't think about anything else because it's so rich, it's so intense. And so I can play for a while, put it down, meditate, and my mind is already very peaceful. So think of it as a Scacciapensieri, the driver of thoughts, driving away thoughts. This next technique is about spiritual work where you call to your ancestors or spiritual guides or other spiritual forces that you want to come and be in your presence. You want them to come to you at the beginning of your meditation, and at the end you ask them to go away. So you can use music with your intention. When you invite them to come be with you, you play for a while, but you don't just space out. You actually send your thoughts to them and ask them, come. The thing about the Khomus is I was inspired to get one by the performer named Olena Utai. She's from Yakutia, and she does something in her performances that I've read about, what some shamans do. When they're inviting people to come, they'll make a horse galloping sound with their mouth harp, and that symbolizes them coming on horses. And at the end of their ceremony or at the end of the trance, they'll play the horse galloping noises to symbolize the people going away, or their spiritual guides traveling away. Here's an example. So that's a very basic galloping sound. Olena Utai can do it very fast. So you would just go at your own pace, but it's not required, of course. Do what works for you. But basically just playing a slow melody with your intention and calling from your heart, inviting them to come, can be a powerful ritual for you. The fifth and final technique I'll talk about is using your jaw harp to unite with nature. You could go to a lake, you could go to a mountain, to the park, to be with the trees. And for example, you could start by playing the sound of wind when you hear the wind. If you have a harp with what's called a draw start, for example, like this Morchang has one, and other types of harps have them too, you just have to look in the details when you buy one. You can mimic the sound of the wind with the sound of the harp itself. So that's an example of using a draw start to be with the wind. If your harp tends to be more melodic than saturated, so instead of being that fuzzy deep sound, it has more where you can pick up the overtones in the throat, you can do things like bird calls. Like here's the cuckoo. So if you listen to videos with Olena Utai, she does a wide assortment of animals, including horses, other birds, chipmunks, and I think that's her way of being more in touch with nature. So if you listen and watch her, you'll get what I'm talking about. If you forget all these techniques, just remember the Italian name for it, Scacciapensieri, the scattering of thoughts, scatterer of thoughts, destroying thoughts. That this can put you in a one-pointed state, which is important for meditation, but also as you're using your lucid dream techniques, your astral travel or out-of-body experience techniques. And of course, if you are trained in shamanism, if you're taking a shamanism course, or if you have been initiated in shamanism, you probably already know about all this stuff, especially with using the drum. But the jaw harp has been used alongside the drum for a very, very long time, and I think a lot of people don't know that. And it's been used throughout most of the world. So hopefully this helps you experiment and explore with using vibrational music in the form of a jaw harp to open your mind, to relax your mind, and to feel your heart even more than before.